Hey, welcome back everybody. Welcome back to my channel, AmusedJester. My name is Junior, and today what we're going to do is we're going to review the Epic World or Epic Hero. Oh, here it is. Epic World of Action from Hasbro. This is their collection of their 3.75 figures that is not quite TVC quality in terms of articulation and maybe paint application, I'm not sure. But it's much more cheaper than TVC. TVC right now, unfortunately, is hitting the $20 mark per figure for the Star Wars, which is a Disney license. This is also a Disney license, but same scale, same size, which is 3.75, not 4 inches. And each figure, I believe, for this Epic World of Action is usually going for $7.99 a piece. This I believe was $29, and I got it on sale for $23. This was on sale for $22. This regular price for this one, I believe, is $22 or $26, and I got it for $22. It's something like that, but I got it when it was 25% off on Target. So let me go and actually, you know, here's the packaging. This is kind of unique in how they did this part. It's still one box, I guess, for packaging, but nice artwork over here. The figures over here, Herbie and the Franklin Richards baby. Oh my God, really nice. I really like that one. There's a signage that's very popular in the 60s that's very familiar. That one I can't remember what it is. Here's more of that photograph. Illustration really well done by the artist, and here is the photograph of the toys themselves, I believe. Yes. And then let's take a look at the packaging for the car. So it's kind of cool. Look at that. Features. Ben Grimm shirtless. And let's see. Has the thing on the side. Here's the back side. Again, the feature. The whole family, which is probably a set. This one right here. I wonder if this is included in this one because I don't know. We'll have to check and see. But I mean, now this one has a different one. Let's see again. Oh, I see. This is the Human Torch. So maybe, hopefully, this piece here is included. Anyway, let me open it up and we'll take a look and see what's going on with these figures, okay? All right, so this is very raw, taking them out of the box. Before we go forward, I just want to show the background from the family set, which I thought was kind of cool. Again, this kind of design kind of reminds me of the 60s design. One symbol for Mr. Fantastic, the Human Torch, the Thing, and the Invisible Woman. It's kind of interesting. All right, so the Fantastic car. I guess we'll start off with that one because we have to assemble it. This is part of it. I apologize for the crinkling. I don't think it's too atrocious, but I just want to show you what is in these two packaging. Okay, so this one goes to the back, I guess. Yeah, it just plugs in. And it has no purpose, it looks like. It's just gonna complete the look. I want to make sure I'm putting this correctly, because I'm wondering why there's an overhang here. Yeah, I guess it's supposed to have an overhang. And that just kind of showed you a little bit of what's underneath. It's kind of nice that they took in the time to design where to put this in. And look at how the ball actually just sits in there. I wonder if this just will basically swing out because of that ball articulation, right? And then you just swing it. Yeah. That's really cool that they thought of all of that. Obviously, it's gonna break the design, but the only other way that probably could have made this better is if it was translucent plastic or transparent plastic. That way, it's not so obvious. But the fact that they designed that in here to incorporate that and not just like a part of it, or kind of like something that you add on, and even with this one, that's pretty cool. And here are the wheels, by the way, so it just pops out like that. No muss, no fuss, I think. And it doesn't really roll very well, but I don't really mind because it's there, so you can see it on the ground if you need to. It's not like I'm no longer a kid that will just roll this into the floor, but I think maybe for kids that might be a bummer because they'll push it along and it won't roll completely. Here's the side of it. As you can see, this is just bare plastic. You can kind of, I guess, buff it if you want. There are some waviness going on here, as you can see. Hey, it's only a toy. I have to draw the line. It's like, it's not a collectible, it's a toy. It's, these doors don't open. I guess this might, I don't think this is a gas cap. I don't know what that's supposedly indicates, but there is some waviness here on the molding. You can see it. I can feel it too. So, but it's still cool though. And that in that point, we'll look at the inside of it. The way they design, look at that. It's got 3 chairs inside. Bare plastic again. But so how much? This was $22 or something like that. That's not really bad. I believe originally it was 26. The set was 29. It's not bad for all that detail. You can paint that in. Oh, the floor even has the Fantastic Four symbol. Like it would be this. Well, let's finish off the design by putting the windshield. Oh, the windshield actually pops in from the front. So I was thinking it comes back here, but the unique design of the back wouldn't really allow for the hinge to be in the back. So it's got the tabs here and the tabs there. I'm assuming if you want to open it, just squeeze it. Oh no, it's right here. Click it from the back. Oh, good. Okay. All right, so now we have the sleek design. Look at that. I was really impressed with the design feature on this one. It kind of reminds me of the Batmobile, honestly. Oh, I don't think, is this flushed in? No, it's not. There you go. Now it's flushed in. Now you get, like, I think a paint job would really make this thing pop. So as you can see, this is painted silver, and you can see the difference between the two, where this is just bare plastic. And now you can really see here the waviness, certain imperfections in the molding casting procedure. You know what? I keep thinking of the theme song for Incredibles. I'm gonna have to rewatch the movie. I really like the movie, by the way. Give me 1 second. Yeah, even though the Fantastic Four was the first before the Incredibles, obviously the strong resemblance of the Incredibles to the Fantastic Four. You know, it's it's exactly the same powers, right? So I keep thinking of the Incredibles theme song fitting the Fantastic Four, but I really like, look, it reminds me of the Camino. Is that what it's the name of the car? Yeah, I love that design. Here's the front, by the way, and you can kind of see it works, right? It works very well. I really like this one. All right, let me put it aside for now. We'll put in the figures inside later on, but let's take a look at the review for each figure, and we'll do it kind of quick. Here is the Human Torch, not necessarily Johnny Storm, because we really don't see the feature. Sorry for my hands are really grimy and dirty, but yeah. So translucent. It's interesting that the chest is more transparent than the arms. The details is really disappears because of the texture all over his body to indicate the fire pattern. But yeah, I'm not really expecting much for the price point, to be honest. It's kind of interesting that this is not painted. I'll talk about that later on. And it looks like the 4 symbol is just actually a separate piece that's plugged in. Kind of weird. It's kind of interesting how they molded they designed the inside. It actually complements the breast of this figure. Look at that. But this one looks like it's all molded off of, or it's all casted off the same plastic, unlike the Human Torch. So it's almost a shame we don't get a version of her where it's just clear. But yeah, it's good like that. And let's see, Mr. Fantastic. So this guy is the only one that actually has a face that has face printing. And so I'm not going to talk much about the detail because you can see the detail as you can see yourself. The proportions are toyish. It's not like vintage collection. I should have left him last, but we'll take a look at that head a little bit more afterwards, because I do want to compare it to a TVC. So here's the thing. As you can see, the thing is basically just plain plastic, right? Except for the eyes. So they didn't do any paint application whatsoever on the thing. And also, of course, in Sue Storm or Invisible Woman and the Human Torch, because there's nothing, because it's all fire and everything. And it's understandable. So you got the 4 symbol over here on the side. They have that all? Nope, it's just the thing that has that. Huh. And here is the second thing, which is just a shirtless thing. Oh, but he has the 4 here. Does he have the 4 on the side? He does. Interesting. He doesn't have the 4 in that one. So it's a completely kind of different uniform. It's not like he's just shirtless. And here's Herbie, the robot. I really like that they didn't really mess around with the design of Herbie the robot. I haven't read a Fantastic Four comic for a long time, almost 20-30 years. But this design, it does remind me of Herbie the robot's design. So I just can't remember if it was from the comics or the cartoons, but yep. They did a really good job on that one. And finally, the last figure, or kind of like an accessory, but still a figure though, right? Franklin Richards. And look that they actually paid attention to the eyes and painted it well. That's amazing to do that. Oh, and the head articulates. Oh, in terms of accessories, this goes with the Human Torch. I guess you can put it in his hand here, and it will be like fireball effects. And Invisible Woman will have a clip-on for a shield. And Mr. Fantastic has a longer arm. It's not a bendy. It's just one plastic. All right. And while we're here, I'm going to bring out a TVC figure, which is, what, $18, $20 now. This was $17 when it came out. And we're going to compare it with this one. So this is using face printing at a $20 figure, emulating a real person. So is this one. I think it's comparable, right? I think that's pretty comparable. I'm not necessarily good with the face sculpt of Pedro Pascal, and I'm not sure if the beard being that high is meant to be that high, or if it's a misprint on my copy. I think it's a misprint on my copy. What do you guys think? Which is kind of a shame. But yeah, I think look at the lips and the lips in this one. I think it's pretty comparable. So they did face printing, but they did save on the face printing because they only had to do it on one character. This one doesn't have a lot of color in it except for the silver. Out of all the, let's say 5, because including Franklin Richards, his was the only one that has a fully painted map. Here's another guy, Carson Teva from the Mandalorian show. All right. Yeah, okay, so this one has a better sculpt, I should say. But look, it's comparable. I mean, I think you can see the difference between the eyes of Pascal's here, where it's just all white. Notice with Carson Teva, it's not all white. It's not as blaringly white because they chose to be a little bit more. Same thing with this one here. See? So the all white, the clear white, the blaring white in this one is very reminiscent of a toy. Well, this one's a lot more subtle. I mean, I think it's still a good job though. In terms of articulation, the head is on a ball joint, but as you can see, that's the range of movement. It does have a hinge all around. It has a twist on the elbow. It can go 90 or slightly close to 90, and it has I guess not a wrist but a gauntlet twist, right? Look at the difference in terms of the design that they used for the Epic World action to compare to the TVC. You can see the hinge over here of the arm, is longer, and this was shorter. This is the old style of doing things, and by making the hinge here longer, you're able to accomplish this type of this range of movement, whereas you can see that's more than 90, while this one, because of the smaller hinge, can barely hit 90. It's the same design. See, look at the elbow. Top here goes down. Same exact design, except the hinge design, or the size of the hinge, is smaller on the Epic World, thus limiting its range of movement. And I don't know why they did that, because obviously it's the same length. They could have applied the same one to this one. I don't know why they chose to do that. I couldn't imagine that it'd be a difference in plastic. Yeah, I guess it's a choice that they made. No waist articulation. Interesting. They did that. This one is also on a hinge, so it can go out and forward. I would call that 90 degrees. Same thing with the knee. Again, they kind of made the hinge disc here smaller, so it somewhat limits the thing. This is kind of ugly, how they did that. How does it look on a TVC? I've never even really noticed that. Much nicer, much closer. Look at this guy. See, it's interesting the choices that they made. I would assume that the design method would be the same and the production would be the same, but they chose to somewhat, I guess, ignore it. The final look, which is kind of weird. There's no cut in the boot. There's no articulation on the ankle. So, but still, $8. and now $20. There's a big difference in articulation, not much difference in the paint, at least for this one, I believe, because I never bought their Epic World look because I have the vintage look. So I believe this is the best painted one they've done so far in this line, the Epic World. But yeah, $8, $20. That's what we're gonna be. Each and every one of us will be deciding in terms of the Star Wars collection, right? So I would say, I mean, for me, it would be like for very, very special figures, I'll fork out the $20. But for the rest of them, for army building or anything, I'm kind of happy with the Epic World as it is. I wonder, it's not gonna fit my stands because as you can see, the holes are bigger, the holes are more retro style. It's interesting. Also, there's no stand for Herbie, and there is no plug for Herbie to stand on, so he's just standing like that. The cool thing too about the Epic World, if you'll notice, is that they'll have bigger feet, but they are fully compatible in terms of size. So I'm not sure in terms of size how what's the name of this guy, the actor of this one, is compared to the height of Pedro Pascal's, but that seems believable. Oh, and then we'll bring out this one because this is compatible to 3.75. See, look. But I should try and see how exactly tall this is. And I got a caliper here. We'll move this into inches. Is that inches? No, that can't be inches. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's in inches. So let's caliper this baby up. Ah, it's at 3.89. Here is Judd Nana Wood. He is 3.78. Huh. That's interesting. How's this one? Oh, she is also taller, 3.96. I still think it scales pretty good with 3.75. It's kind of weird. I hope they don't move into the 4-inch line. I really don't hope not. Anyway, I think for the price that I'm paying for, $22, just think about that. $22 for 4 to 5 figures with limited scale, passable, stepping with Carson Tava, passable in terms of scaling into my Star Wars TVs. This is the only things because it doesn't have ankle articulation. This is gonna be hard, kind of like difficult to stand them up. I need to print out some stands for them. Eesh, she's not standing at all. This is the weakest of the sculpture, I think. Mr. Fantastic is the strongest, and then the Thing would follow suit. Or actually, you know what? I would say maybe Herbie the robot. It's the funniest of them. And then Invisible Woman, and then Baby Richards here off to the side. And we're gonna put Carson Tava here. So we'll have comparison. And Judd Nana Wood. Actually, let me put him to the back. I'm really not fond of the Human Torch one. See, as standing them side by side, it's you can't tell. You'll only notice it because of the straight cut. Actually, I'll put Carson Tava slightly over here so we can see Judd Nana Wood better, and I'll put I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to stand this guy up because he always had a problem standing. So let me put him on my stand. This will, of course, raise him a little bit higher. Yeah, this guy, it's the ankle articulation that kind of bowls him over. That's one of the good things having our ankle articulation, is that at least you have a choice to move it back and forward to kind of make it steady. But this will be covered by having stands on everything. Here's, by the way, some of the stuff that I printed. Here's my Kryptonian Non, and here's my Kryptonian Zod. I printed these guys out to be 3.75 to go into my collection. So you can kind of compare. This is more of a realistic body. This one is more toyetic, so you can see how big of a difference between the thighs on the two. And here is a Mezco 1986 or 1966 Batman. As you can see, very, very basic face on this one. We're going to compare it with my Zod print. And as you can see with my Zod print, which was originally supposed to be, I believe, 12 inches, which I scaled down to 3.75, you really, like, I haven't painted this, so I can't really determine what detail is left over in that face. But yeah, it's kind of hard to see with Invisible Woman, but I chose her because she's not painted. So there you go. You can kind of see some detail around her eyes, which is not even in my Zod. But I haven't cleaned them up too, though. Anyway, so let's talk about well, in terms of pricing, I guess we can talk about that too. Oh, the value. So just think about that. $24 for 4 figures, or 4.5 figures, or 5 figures, even if you think about it, compared to what is now, well, I bought this for $17, what is now $20. Is that even like comparable, right? I mean, because if that's the case, I'm like, well, we're going backwards in terms of technology, in terms of design, you know, but I'm gonna be okay with that, because I think Ben Grimm is supposed to be the driver or pilot here, so I'm gonna put him on to the front. Oh, he is a very tight fit in there. But yeah, look at that. Whole family. Well, not the whole family, of course. I really like how they did this. Oh, and I left Franklin Richards out there. So basically, to the side over here. And of course, without that ankle articulation, he kind of looks weird with his ankle and feet on that one. Yeah, it's okay. For this is basically almost $50, but you get the whole set, you get the whole family, and you're done. $50 and you're done. You're done with your collection. I think that's pretty good value. I would value this at 12 base price, 10 equaling to $22 and $24 respectively. It's cheap enough, $8, that I can kind of play with it, kind of mess around with it, display it a little bit, and be done with it, you know. So I'm kind of happy with that. I think it's a good price. It's for a Fantastic Four movie. It is pretty close to being like it would be seen in a toy form from a cartoon or a comic book perspective, you know. So I think they did a really, really good job on this one. I hope this line continues. I hope this line expands more especially not only in the figure line, but also in the vehicle line and the diorama line. And I hope don't do that with your kids. With the Star Wars specifically, that this goes up or does really, really well, because I really want to see more coming out of this line, especially with the vehicles and into the Star Wars universe, you know. But yeah, get it. Even if you don't like the movie, this is a perfect representation toy form for the Fantastic Four and a fantastic car. Yeah, and I forgot to show off the accessories, but we'll cut off there. It's already 30 minutes. And also, thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Oh, did I say the value rating? Value rating of 12. Definitely worth getting. Very happy with it, and everything. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you guys on my next review. Bye.